On a podcast Tuesday with Steve Kerr, Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll said, quote, "We owe a tremendous amount to Colin Kaepernick when he started his protests." Shannon, do you appreciate what he said here?
Hell no. He wasn't saying that when he did it. Skip, he had Colin Kaepernick in. He didn't mention anything about football. He talked about, what was going on and the protests. And guess what they did? They signed the great Austin Davis. So now all of a sudden, ex post facto, oh, he's to be commended. Why didn't you commend him then? You needed a backup quarterback. Why didn't you sign him? Now you want us to give, man, you heard what Pete said about Cap? He said Cap is to be commended for what he was doing. He wasn't saying that then. So why are you saying it now? Because remember, it's the in vogue. Oh, you can't go wrong. Mm-hmm. Black Lives Matter. Justice for George. We need to end this systemic racism and institutional racism. You can't go wrong now. And Pete Carroll just jumped on the bandwagon. That's all he did, Skip Bayless. He ain't fooling nobody. No. Because when you had Cap right before you, you didn't talk about no football. You ain't talk about no X's and O's. You ain't say go draw up nothing on the board. And when you canceled a visit, Skip, if I'm not mistaken, in 2018, when he wouldn't give you assurances that he wouldn't take a knee again.
True.
So now he's to be commended. Mm-hmm. You wasn't commended him when you had him in your office for a visit. Mm. You canceled his visit in 2018 when he wouldn't give you assurance he wouldn't take a knee. Now you want praise? Now you saying we should pat Cap on the back when you slammed the door in Cap's face? Man, miss me with this. Oh, no. He get no kudos. He gets nothing from Shannon. Mm.
So to your point, they did bring Colin Kaepernick to Seattle. As I recall, and I think you heard this from one of your sources, that he thought he was going to work out for the Seahawks.
Correct.
And nothing happened.
No.
He did not even suit up in practice gear to go out and throw the football.
He
correct?
Did not. Correct.
So what was it about then? Were they just sort of helping the league out by saying, we're going to have him in for a visit just to say, well, somebody did something, right?
Yes.
We tried. Mm-hmm. Then the NFL Network, and maybe you should take this with those grains of salt, they reported it was all about money, that they were, quote unquote, far apart on how much Colin was asking for that the Seahawks did not want to pay at that point.
Right.
Mike Florio, to his credit, on Pro Football Talk, shot that down and said, but for his sources, not about money at all.
They never talked about money.
No.
They never talked about football, anything related to football. It was about what Colin Kaepernick was doing, the protest, and that is what they talked about. Mm-hmm. So money never even came up.
So at that point, Pete Carroll did speak out about, look, Colin Kaepernick is a starter in this league, and he will be a starter in this league. I think he was trying to say, between the lines, we don't really need a starter here because we have a starting quarterback, Russell Wilson, who had been under fire because that locker room had decided that he was the quote-unquote pet of Pete Carroll and the coaching staff. And you know the flashpoint of the Seattle Seahawks, as we knew and loved them, the Legion of Boom, was that flashpoint moment of, do we hand it to beast mode or do we throw it?
Yep.
Right?
Correct.
And I think a lot of the players on the defensive side of the ball decided they wanted to make Russell the MVP of the Super Bowl. Correct. Let him throw it from the 1 yard line? Yeah. Okay. And was that not the beginning of the end?
It was never going to be the same, Skip. But Skip, your team, as a matter of fact, signed as a backup a guy that was a starter, a guy that's good enough to start.
Oh, now.
Your team signed the guy.
True.
I thought that's what you...
In parts because we're not sure we're going to have our other guy.
Skip, right? I thought that's what you wanted. Yep. You would want a guy that's been a starter.
Oh, it's perfect. It's beautiful.
Gone to the Super Bowl. So if you get in these games like this, he's not in awe. He's been there, done that. I thought that's what teams wanted. Mm-hmm. They wanted experience at the backup quarterback position. But not this time.
Okay. But in that case, Russell Wilson was feeling some heat. Mm-hmm. And so Florio on Pro Football Talk, his final point was it that they didn't want to have an in-house option, like a real option, in case he started to struggle and all of a sudden the Boo Birds came out and said, well, wait a second, where are we headed here with Russell Wilson? This is back in 2017, right?
And remember, some of the guys, Michael Bennett, Sherm, wanted them to sign Cap.
Did they? very outspoken about it.
Yes.
So if you sign Cap, and many of the defensive players are fans of him, and Russell does have an off game, what happens? All of a sudden, do you have some clashing in the locker room?
Right.
Probably you do. So I think I don't know if it's Pete Carroll's decision. I don't know if it was the GMs or the owners. I don't know how high up it went. But for all the reasons you just detailed, they said thanks, but no thanks very quickly and didn't even let him go so far as to work out for them.
Correct.
Just to prove what he had been.
Right.
Well, we know to that point, he had thrown 72 touchdown passes in this league to only 30 interceptions. That's
pretty good.
That's pretty good, man. That sounds like better than a starting quarterback.
Yes.
That sounds like a quarterback who got the 49ers to 2 straight NFC championship games and won one of them and came within a controversial uncalled pass interference of winning the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Right?
That's it.
Okay, that's how great he was. Maybe not, I'm not going to go great. I'll go how very good he had been to that point.
Right.
Very good.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he gets one look from one team that seems phony baloney.
Right.
It doesn't seem like it was really happening at all.
It's almost like, Skip, how they do the minority coaches where they interview Martin Lewis or they interview that, knowing good well you're not going to sign him, but you know what? We'll do you this solid. We'll bring him in and we'll take a look at him. We're not going to talk football. Skip, how am I going to go look at, I want to go buy a car, but I go to the dealership and I talk everything except cars. Man, how your wife doing? Yeah, where you go to school at? I ain't talking nothing about the car, but I go in there to buy a car. But all we doing is shooting the breeze, talking about everything else except the car.
It's for show.
Exactly. You bring a guy in there, you're a football team. You bring players in to talk football. Okay, let me see, where are you, Cap? You want to throw? You want to work out? Okay, sure. That's what normally happens. I mean, I've been in a lot of, played 14 years and been at this facility on Tuesday, and they bring a lot of guys in there, Skip, and guys are getting dressed. They go out there, run 40s, they throw, they catch, they punt, they kick. You bring a guy in there to sit him down in your office and talk and not talk football? You're a football team. Normally, football teams talk football. So, Pete, I'm not giving Pete no credit. Oh, Skip, remember, everybody said all the right things about Cap now, in which these very same people that are praising Cap for what he did then, they didn't praise him then.
Yeah.
They praise him now. That's easy for you to say because oh, man, Cap, what Cap did, y'all saw what Cap?
Yep.
Where were you then?
Yep.
You weren't talking about Cap doing a great thing. You're talking about how divisive it was. I thought everybody liked peaceful protest, Skip. You know, we've got to make it peaceful. Dr. King was peaceful. Even though he was getting hit upside his head, he was still peaceful. Colin Kaepernick was peaceful.
Wow.
Well, first of all, it's not the right time. It's not the right place. And how do you want me to protest? Because generally, if somebody would tell you what to do, they're going to tell you to do the thing, Skip, that's least uncomfortable for them. I don't want you to make me uncomfortable. I mean, tell me what protest at home. And be quiet, you know. Yeah, I know I understand slavery, and I know your pain and you're suffering, but I know you're hurt. But don't cry too long now. That's long enough. You cried long enough. What you crying for now? You got Oprah. You got Michael Jordan. You got the blacks doing well.
You had Obama.
Yeah. Boy, that's the number one, Skip. That's the number. Even Mitch McConnell said, I don't know what they're complaining about. They had Obama for 8 years. Like, that makes up for the other 400 years. So for 392 years, so that makes the 8 years that we had President Obama, that makes up for, man, stop. But Pete, y'all miss me. Now, Steve Kerr has been on the right side of history.
Yes.
Greg Popovich has been on the right side of history. Now everybody want to have revisionist history. They want to have his story. They don't want history because they're two different things. They kind of spell the same, but they're different.
They do.
One is written by one and the other is the actual chronological events as they happen.
Yep.
And right now, Pete Carroll is trying to tell his story. Nah, Pete, we ain't gonna let you do that, bro. You missed your opportunity. You had your chance. You chose not to. Now just keep it moving. But we appreciate you bringing attention to this. So if you want to don't mention Cap. If you want to just talk about the plight of the black man, the killing of black men and women at the hands of police officers unarmed, have at it. But don't mention Cap because you blew that.
So maybe I'm being idealistic here, but I've told you before, and I'm going to say it again. I am hoping that George Floyd did not get murdered in vain. I'm hoping this is a turning point moment in the history of this country.
Yes.
And I'm also hoping that Colin Kaepernick did not sacrifice the rest of his NFL career in vain.
Right.
And it's doing my heart good to see a lot of Kaepernick jerseys at the protest. So it's come full circle to, oh wait, he was really right. So we're seeing a groundswell that direction.
Right.
And to your point, Pete Carroll jumped on the groundswell.
Yes.
Okay.
And Skip, we saw this is not anything new. Because think about what happened when Dr. King. Man, Dr. King never had a 90% approval rating when he was alive, Skip. He was one of the most despised men in America. And now everybody, boy, they quote him, they put his clips up, and just like, ooh, man, Dr. King, Dr. King. Man, Dr. King like, man, I wish y'all to love me like this, because I'd probably still be alive if y'all love me like y'all love me right now.
Touche.
And then they Skip, and when this was going on, what would Dr. King say? What would Dr. King do? I don't know, y'all killed him. So I don't know what he would do. I don't know what he would say. Had you left him alone, he'd have been around to tell you what he would do and what we could have done and what he would say. But we don't know.
All right, guys, coming up soon on the show, someone I'm really looking forward to hearing from, rapper, activist, Killer Mike will be